losing a majority decision against Russian.
Left-right combination, and Payano has been stretched on the canvas, and he doesn't know where he is. He's face down. The referee is holding the count, and it is all over.
Naoya Inoue is recognized as one of the best boxers of modern time, and only a madman would argue with that. The Japanese won 25 fights, scored 22 knockouts, and became the undisputed bantamweight champion. And right now, he can replicate Crawford's record and conquer 2 weight classes, but he has worthy opponents in front of him.
Standing up. This is done.
The nightmare from Philippines named Marlon Tapales holds 2 belts in the super bantamweight division, and he is not willing to give them away to anybody, even to the monster like Inoue. Stubborn, powerful, and aggressive, he will fight till the very last breath.
It may be only a matter of time before Ray Corona steps in, and he does so. And Marlon Tapales.
The year of 2023 doesn't cease to impress and once again gives us an opportunity to see a historic fight. An undefeated Japanese warrior with dynamite in his hands, Naoya Inoue devoured his division and right now is 2 fights away from becoming the best boxer in another one. While an extremely dangerous Filipino steamroller, Marlon Tapales will defend the honor of his weight class. We will find out very soon whether he manages to do so or not, and right now, it's time to remember all the events that led to this bout. Get comfortable, dear friends, you're about to see the countdown for the fight between Naoya Inoue and Marlon Tapales. Please don't forget about the likes, comments with 4 words, and subscribe to the channel. Here we go! All of you know who Kaibutsu is very well. Naoya drew attention to himself for the first time in 2018, only when he moved to the bantamweight division. In the very first fight, the Japanese finished an incredibly experienced champion, Jamie McDonald, and became the WBA champion, and then appeared on the 2nd season of World Boxing Super Series. The monster reached the finals very easily. His opponents couldn't even last 3 rounds. The finale itself wasn't that easy though. In a hard and competitive fight, Naoya beat a former champion and a living legend of lighter weight classes, Donaire II. And eventually became the winner of the tournament. After brilliant performances in WBSS, Naoya conquered 2 championships and set a hard but quite achievable goal: collect all the belts. And that's exactly what he has been doing for the next couple of years. What do we know about Marlon Tapales? The Filipino began his professional career rather early at the age of 16. So don't be surprised that at 31, the guy has 40 performances. At first, the Maradinga Nightmare was not very lucky. He lost twice and did not win belts of the major promotions. However, constant training and gained experience eventually showed itself, and in 2016, Tapales finally won the WBO title. Back then, Marlon competed in the bantamweight division, but this weight class did not really fit him. It was hard to cut weight. The last drop was a failed weigh-in at the very first defense, and then he got stripped of the title. Facing this problem, the Filipino made the only right decision and moved up in weight, where in 2019 he suddenly lost to the Japanese Ryosuke Iwasa.
Knockout victories around 11 and on cue! Over the top. Come to me. And he looked right back at his...
After a 1-year-long layoff, Tapales came back with a knockout in the fight against his countryman. and then clashed with another Japanese representative, Hiroaki Teshigawara. The Japanese with bleached hair decided to play the bad guy and defiantly refused to touch his opponent's hand. However, the latter was not bothered by that. It's time to talk about Marlon's style. The boxer is a capable southpaw and can quickly get in a close range, while his lead hand shots are really dangerous. In fact, in the last years of his career, Tapales was presenting himself as a puncher even more, and this fight was not an exception. After spending some time on a feeling out process, the Filipino then exploded with a combination and put Hiroaki into a standing knockdown. The referee counted down, and when the fight resumed, Tapales smashed the impudent guy another time. Barely conscious Japanese had a hard time going out in the second round, but got immediately caught with a right hook and knocked out.
Yeah, I prepared well, but I was still shocked when I stopped him that early. But I prepared really well.
Yeah.
Inoue was not sitting on the bench either and looked for the title fights. However, the champions were not in a hurry to lose their belt with Inoue's old rival Nonito Donaire. The rematch between the two was inevitable, but it had to happen a bit later, so instead of battles for the title, the guy had to have defenses. One of them took place at the very end of 2021, and the contender happened to be Thai Samaran Dipayan with 14 fights in his professional career. Naoya completely dismantled the rookie. For the entire fight, he was bullying him around the ring with powerful punches. And when his opponent's will was finally broken, the Japanese landed the ultimate combination and knocked Aran down. And then finished him via TKO. Easy money for the monster. While Naoya was beating the hell out of an inexperienced vis-a-vis, Marlon was searching for an opponent and the candidate was found soon. Despite all possible options including title fights, which we already talked about in regard to Tapales, the boxer and his team managed to have a fight only against the Mexican no-name Jose Estrella, who had nearly more losses than victories in his career. It seemed like the whole point of this fight was to keep the Maradinga Nightmare active and in shape. Marlon, as always, took a bit of time to feel out the ring and the opponent's style. Estrella decided to use his only chance and went on an attack, but he failed to develop any kind of success and his opponent already moved forward himself. The Filipino began to pepper the veteran with heavy shots and was confident in scoring a knockout. He couldn't do that in the first round. The Mexican was steady on his feet, but in the second round, Marlon managed to catch Jose with a counter. A flush punch happened to be a decisive one, and the fight was over. At that very moment, while Tapales was tearing his opponent down in the ring, Naoya was preparing to have another spectacular performance. For a long time, the Japanese have been saying that he wants a rematch with Donaire or the fight with John Casimero, another Filipino boxer of the championship caliber, famous for his trash talk and decent sense of humor. John challenged the Japanese both in the media and interviews.
I don't know. Naoya is that they have power, but I'm strong. Easy work. If we fight Naoya Inoue, I know how to manage that one.
Ultimately, an opportunity to pay Donaire back for the hardest fight in his career was way more appealing, and the Monsters team grabbed it with no hesitation. The bout was set for the beginning of the summer 2022.
Somehow managed to find his balance, but Inoue might have been better to just go down tonight because
Inoue made the needed adjustments from the first fight and this time simply obliterated his opponent. Donaire got knocked down already at the end of the first round. And in the second, he ate a lot of heavy shots. Got caught with a perfect left hook and went down for good. Naoya becomes the bantamweight champion in 3 organizations.
I didn't know. It's just the second round, so it was my timing. But to be able to reach my status up at the top, I need to win this fight. So I just decided to make this fight finish at this moment.
Inoue's dream to return the favor to Nonito was fulfilled, and it was time to move on. Back then, everybody had already figured out what the Japanese were striving for, and there was only one question. When could it happen? Of course, I'm talking about title unification bout. A vast collection of kaibutsus lacked only one coveted WBO belt, which at the time belonged to a tough but not that high level of boxer, Paul Butler. The Brit conquered the title just recently and had only one defense, and now he was set to share the ring with the scariest man in the weight class.
And a big right hand that comes in. 3-1 from Inoue. Big combination scores the knockdown here in round 11. That power of Inoue comes through, and he gets it done.
The fight did not look like a championship scrap. Inoue was backing up the poor guy to the ropes for the entire fight, landing his big shots, and when Paul finally gassed, Naoya dispatched him by a terrifying knockout. In such a dominant fashion, the undefeated Inoue became the undisputed champion of the world at just 29 years of age. Incredible guy.
I made this, and this is because the Butler came to Japan for me to become this undisputed champion. So first, I would like to appreciate my thank you to the Butler camp.
Naoya became the first undisputed boxing world champion from Japan in modern history, but he wasn't even thinking of sitting on the bench and resting on his laurels. Instead, the guy decided to set historic records and snatch all belts in another weight class. But before that, he needed to take a break and get in shape. And what was happening with Marlon during that time? Tapales didn't have fights for a rather long time, but his time finally came as well. The Filipino received a unique offer that he couldn't refuse, which is to fight against the current double champion Murodjon Akhmadaliev. An undefeated boxer from Uzbekistan was famous for conquering 2 titles in just his 8th professional bout. Such early championship ambitions were justified by Akhmadaliev becoming sort of a legend in amateur boxing in Asia, and he was known as an incredibly skilled and experienced fighter. The majority of the fans believed in youth and talent, while the Maradinga Nightmare wasn't willing to argue with that and wanted to prove his point in the ring.
Ako nakita lang, maayo man siya, badayon volume puncher, taas of stamina, so nangkamot lang ko nga makakuha ko sa timing sa iyang mga sumbag para engage na kakumplano.
The fight of 2 southpaws was very exciting and unpredictable. In the first half of the bout, it seemed that Tapales had better preparation for his opponent. He landed more, had better movement and defense.
Next up in 2021, Tapales. Again. That uppercut rocked. That's an awkward punch to throw, but you can see the heavy. Knockouts of the year, but Chris, we got that rematch coming soon. Yeah, actually.
It was almost as if young Akhmadaliev couldn't find his distance and figure out what to do. Everything changed after the middle of the fight. The champion became faster and more active.
Wide open there. In Bam's hometown. Nice right hand there from Akhmadaliev because this is the first time I've seen Akhmadaliev throw something behind. How we finally see an angle from Beshel. It's the position in the...
While his precise shots from different angles were constantly reaching the mark. On the contrary, the Filipino started to miss more blows, but occasionally fought back and landed decent combinations, winning the rounds.
Far more accurate with his jab, but as you're seeing, these
and just like that, and now he's got Tapales against
the one-punch knock.
Oh, speaking of one-punch,
Tapales
Tapales is in control of the momentum. Look at like shots like that, clean left with a big left hand of his own.
After 36 minutes of intense battle, we found out that Marlon Tapales became the new champion via split decision.
He's really good. That's why I'm trained hard for the training camp, and we did our best the training camp. And thanks for my coach, Coach Ernal, and all the staff. They helping me, and you know that's why I performed very well.
Apart from common words of gratitude, the newborn champion unequivocally stated that he really wants to fight the winner of Naoya Inoue versus Stephen Fulton to identify the best boxer of the weight class. Indeed, while Tapales was preparing for his championship fight, Kaibatsu was finally ready to make an important decision and move up to the super bantamweight division, where, considering his achievements, he was easily given an opportunity to fight Stephen Fulton, who was a champion in 2 organizations. Initially, the fight was targeted for the spring, but Inoue got injured and the bout was postponed till July. What about his opponent? The American nicknamed Cool Boy Steph had time to build a reputation of a talented boxer with a great defense and fast hands, and his record of 21-0 was a testament to the guesses that he is not an easy guy to beat. Fulton expressed extreme confidence in his victory.
Oh, you want to know why? Because I feel like the hype is around amongst him because he's a Japanese person doing these things. That's all. I feel like that's the hype is around because of that. Not only that, power don't just win fights. I'm smart. How you think I got here? My skill, my mindset, my speed, my slickness.
In contrast with that wild confidence from Fulton, there was a viral story that Stephen went after Inoue's team for their attempt to tape the champion's hands in an illegal way. The thing is that the rules for taping in the USA and Japan are very different, but because the fight was held at the monster's home soil, he had every right to tape his hands the way he used to, and Stephen was forced to agree with that. Instead, Naoya accepted the rules of his opponent and taped his hands according to the USA standard. Did it help Fulton though? The vaunted speed and agility of Stephen crashed against reality and Naoya's vicious pressure. The Japanese broke his opponent with pressure and simply bombarded him to every level. In the 8th round, he scored an amazing knockdown.
Huge right hand from the monster, and then he chases him down. Fulton is laying out, struggling to get to his feet.
And eventually finished him.
Backed up into the corner. Here comes Inoue. That destructive, decisive power does it again.
Like all Inoue's previous opponents, Cool Boy Steph couldn't offer him a worthy resistance and literally gave away his titles.
Last year, I became an undisputed champion and returned all the belts and become a super bantamweight. Everything I was thinking about, all in mind, was to fight against him in this year. However, unfortunately, I got injury and I had to postpone this fight. I am sorry for my team, and Fulton's team, but thank you so much for accepting this fight once again, and I'm so happy right now.
As soon as Inoue got done beating up Fulton, Marlon Tapales, who was sitting front row for the whole time, got to the ring and congratulated Kaibatsu on his victory. As promised, the Filipino attended this fight to see his next opponent firsthand. After the tournament, we already knew that soon the world will see another undisputed champion. The fight between Inoue and Tapales was only a matter of time, and we should say that they made us wait, but in October, there was an official announcement. Champion against champion, December 26th at the arena in Tokyo. We are about to see a great fight. Nobody has any doubts that Naoya Inoue is one of the best boxers of our generation, and he deserves his spot among the pound-for-pound best fighters, but it's not enough for the monstrous Japanese. He wants to prove to us all that he is not just one-off, but the best boxer on the planet. Very soon he will have an opportunity to do that. However, Marlon should not be written off. the guy had an incredible long path to the titles, and the mere thought that a capable but not remarkable Maradinga nightmare could beat such a genius as Murjan Akhmadaliev seemed crazy to everyone. And what do we see now? Tapales is the main contender for the undisputed championship in his weight class, and who knows, maybe the luck would favor him this time as well. We will get the answer on December the 26th, and for now, leave your opinion in the comments below.